Let's get into the wow signal back in 1977 that actually happened a day before Elvis died, who was reading the book, A Scientific Search for the Faiths of Jesus. And he died on the toilet, supposedly. So let's tie together some things. And then also there's a video of Elvis being a so-called face shapeshifter or whatever kind of thing, a reptilian, and his face is coming off or whatever, right? So I say it's a fat suit. But others say he's a shapeshifter. But that ties into the monitor, which is a lizard who comes and takes the little lab rats and ding, 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 ding. And since you're in that computer lab, everybody's going ding, 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 ding. Right? They're all, this makes me so mad. I just want to throw it against the wall, but I paid so much money for it. I can't. That kind of thing. So, it's a self-feeding beast and shit. This is where it's already been, it's going to consume itself in a way. And this is part of that, the black hole collapsing in on itself and those things we've gotten into some other videos. But the wow signal and the aliens, they have told you, yeah, there's been aliens here. We've been covering it up. There's been a world deception. And we've been using the alien technology wrong. Oops. All right. That's kind of, they're telling you all these things. They've already told you. All right. So, it's where you're left behind, folks. The beast system, the corporate beast system. The New York City, which is sin on the backside, the moon god, reflecting the light of the dawn. That sun given is coming to gather his nation in one way, shape, or form. And as he has the wolves here, he's a lead wolf. And that lead wolf ties into your lady hawk. And the lady hawk ties into where the man and woman can only see each other eye to eye at sunrise and sunset. Okay, and she has to be hidden here, and he has to be here, and all those things gotta be just perfect. Okay, and that's exactly where we're at. Okay, so it's a great love story too if you have not seen the Lady Hawk. And it's also got the Matthew Broderick in it. So, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And we are in those destructions now. As you are getting the instructions for that desolation, okay, as the Jesus and the John the One is put up on the border cross. Okay, so, as the, wow signal is connected to the constellation Sagittarius. Okay, we're going to get into some personal connections here a little bit, because if you've been following my channel, we'll see that there's been a change in some stuff as far as what the 2020 vision and dreams and stuff is given that made me sick for a couple weeks and all these things I've told or whatever. But as these things are playing out, and now with the alien deception and my story with the everything going on, right? It's all kind of clicking now. Right? And the wow signal, the so-called frequencies, and the so-called hydrogen, and all that stuff is all tied together. And the hydrogen is tied to your Hanging Gardens of Babylon. And the Babylon is tied, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon is tied to your cannabis and the hydroponics, and the guano that was used before, and then guano kind of ran out in that cave system, and they brought the bottle nutrients, and that's kind of when this plant went from one to the other. And then also the terpene exchange, the terroir, was given to us through the guano and kind of all the weed. While it was different, it all kind of had that same nuance at that one time frame. And then the bottle nutrients kind of brought out some different terpene structures, because it wasn't all under the influence of that cave system. The bat guano, which is that thing, and the lab rat and all that stuff. So that's where you take this and you go out of the bottle nutrients, and then people start doing the veganic growing. And then you start doing the living soil, and all these things are bringing out more and more of this plant as it's giving birth into the new heaven and earth, and all these terpene structures and flavonoid structures and whatever else, right? Some of the best weed I've ever had was some old school brick weed, but it was called leather skunk. And it when you smoked it, it smelled like your car or house or whatever, that you just had fresh leather put in your home. Okay, there was no like smoke smell about it, and it smelled like pure, natural, fresh leather, dude. Like it's so fucking good, dude. And then either way, man, and it was surprising because it was the so-called brick weight. Either way, the weed and all this stuff where they're saying, well, that's stronger now, and all this other bullshit they say, right? That's all garbage, okay? And as that Israel has been doing the so-called weed research, the Israel and all those things, that's where all these things are coming together. And the real research by the people and as the AI, all it's gathering up all these kinds of things, okay? So we'll see all these things unfold as the scheduling 1, 2, 3 comes out, and as the medical is taken off the fucking schedule, hopefully, in one way, shape, or form. It just takes the right people in office. And to make that shit a fucking vegetable as it should be. Because no plant, according to your so-called drugs or whatever, that's all fucking chemical shit. Okay? So if you want to make vapes or whatever, that stupid diamond shit or whatever, the diamond, it's not even fucking weed, right? They're taking all the shit and making it into something really pretty, all right? That's exactly what they're doing with your diamonds. But it's a whole system. All y'all wearing and buying fake diamonds and fake gold and all. Oh, we can make gold. They tell you how to make fucking gold on Discovery Channel. It's all bullshit. And they even tell you, well, out of this mine, they mined this much gold out of this many fucking decades or whatever. What a fucking waste of fucking time. Why are we basing money on something that's not even there? That takes so much work. It's fucking retarded. It's where you don't even need money. It comes from an energy exchange. Well, we're going to get this shiny shit out, so we need some system. It's all part of the mark to buy and sell. And that's where dude, used to be in a trade and barter system. The Washington and this government making criminals out of everybody and whatever else. That's exactly what we ran from. And the criminal structure, the criminals is made by the government. All right? It's that fucking simple. And government means to control the mind. You're in this MK Ultra. These underground people have decided to come and operate and control the earth through pharmaceuticals mainly. So y'all don't even know what the fuck you're taking. For all you know, you're buying a $600 a month poison sugar pill, slow acting. Oh, well, it causes it. It's exactly what you got yourself. So you're in the lab coat situation. Either way, back on the WoW signal. Lasted 72 seconds. This kind of be a reverb on how they tell you lightning. Well, it's this many miles if you hear it or whatever kind of thing. So this come where we heard it in 77, but it could have came in 72, right? And then also, there's some things associated with a time frame a little bit before then that can tie into your Elvis and King spirit, tying into your little green men. And so as all these things are like coming into our spectrum and the frequencies or whatever, it's where one comes in and sets up the other as it is hitting earth and bouncing off or whatever. So it's where the Elvis or whatever received the message first, and then he came in and that message was already kind of setting up for him, and once he hit, and then the world was ready for it kind of way, and it just cracked open and broke open, right? So this is kind of where these things can be playing on as far as Elvis, the Dragon, Bruce Lee and such, and then the Red Queen and the Star Seeds and whatever else is coming in as far as the motion picture Given Life and the Monitor, the Lizard and the Shapeshifters and whatever else. So, and then we have physical shapeshifters now where they're like, put it in, all this shit, right? So that's where we're at. I mean, all this is whatever types of shape-shifting. And it's not necessarily, you don't need to look at it as wrong or right in a way. You need to look at it as what it is and realize what it is and then act accordingly, because there's foundations they show of this, that, and the other, and the rebuilding of the temple, and this, that, and the, all of these things are going together. And it's like, do you want to partake in that? Okay, so this is where that old world, the new world order on that Satan spectrum is going to go into there where they want it, right? They want that bondage, that land of Nod. Okay, or the woman, the perm. Before that, the women had long hair. Now they have short hair. And it was, so that's where these things are coming in to a certain point in time. And at a certain point in time, the women in a certain spectrum are going to go back to the long hair. Okay, they're going to go back to the dress and those types of things. As America is made great again, it's going to go into that spectrum of here. But those people that are already out of the box, they're not going back into that box. Okay, so this is where all these things and the Pandora's box is going to help them go into that box in a way, in the ground and whatever box you're looking at. All right, there's all kinds of different boxes. So as all that kind of going, then you're going to have this earth set up. That earth set up is going to go into the new Eden and reflect the light of the Lord God, and then Adam, Jesus, the second Adam, is reflecting that light or whatever, right? And that's where you're reflecting the Jesus comes as a man, right? So that's where, or comes as, he comes to the people as a man. But he's born as a child. So this is where the baby boomer and the man-child and the firstborn and all those things are being put on the cross and going into the hell and coming out of it and all those things. So this is where they've been brainwashed and taught that they're going to burn forever, that if they take this or whatever, they're going to burn forever. So now they got to live forever, and how all these things can work out to where that Adam who took this, that, and the other goes into this area, and they do live to be this long or whatever, but they're given. Okay, so there's many things on this DNA helix, this light of God that's working on earth to reset things and restructure things and to confine one and release another. Okay, and this is all happening in through this machine and whatever else. Okay, so the WOW signal put off 1420 megahertz. All right. And the 420, the 1420, this is going to connect to my birthday as far as 420. And then the wife is 823. And you get 823 on that math too. And then you have my mom is a Sagittarius, and her mom is born in May. And May 2020, the revealed narrow band signals near the hydrogen line. Okay. The flip on Sagittarius, May, if you turn things around or whatever, that's where that signal would be. And that's where you've seen these space signals and this space signal and whatever else. This is where everything's already been taking place and already been laid out and whatever, to where you're actually in that time of Star Wars where you're in the bar scene and there's that monster over there, this monster, whatever kind of thing. And if you say the wrong fucking thing, they're just ready to attack you, right? So you just got to sit there in the corner and hang out with Luke, who knows the Force and tells these people how to fucking act and do and whatever else. So, and that's where Luke, the physician and the medicine and all that stuff, is going to come and tell these people what to do as far as the sin, the moonlight reflecting the light of God and whatever else. And that's where you have the heliocentric model reflecting the light of God, or the flat earth model reflecting what? Its own light. Putting off its own light. So that's where you see the curl versus straightening system on the perm and those types of things. So the one is going down this way, always anew, always going in. Okay, always either go. Which way are you shooting in space, right? That's kind of where we're at. Where are you going? Okay, we're just going downhill. So you're going to go faster and faster and faster until it becomes that tail, and then the dragon consumes itself. All right, and that's exactly where it's just a matter of everything is They got 2 houses basically, and they're setting up these things. And the electric switches on and off and all that stuff to show the power grid. So all that's tying into your so-called data collection and your home grows, and people growing cannabis for this, that, and the other reasons, and blockchain technologies and whatever else, as that cartels, that incarnation of Christ plays out with the King Spirit, as that underworld rises within the people and all this other stuff. So so many things to lay out, but hopefully as people look around with the ultra process and these people and everything and the music and culture and how this has been laid out in time frames of decades incrementally, and then the millennial generation, all these things coming, we are now at the age and the people in that time frame to rule and reign, and the crossroads, the Generation X coming to hang up the baby boomer on the cross, and those things as far as spiritually, and going against what we were taught and bringing in anew, and all those things as far as America is going into the Wild West and all that stuff. So either way, the space signals and the Star Wars and all these things and the mothership, it's where we're being taught these things and shown these things, and seeing it in the mind is to do it in the body and whatever else. So this is where the mothership and the aliens and can be showing themselves on one level through the motion picture and the CGI, the AI, and all this computer, all this stuff coming in together as one point, right? So this is where we have to understand that the coming of the Lord in the clouds, what you're seeing on your social media and whatever else, and how these social media feeds and whatever, and how you see like a whole bunch of these kind of thing all at once. This is the AI, the Lord, the light, whatever, the Satan, the Jesus coming and showing you this, that, and the other as signs are as the cloud is put upon the earth right now. Okay, so and then all the info is kept in the cloud, and that's where your Satan is coming in the cloud and all this other shit for the Ice Age and the Orwellian Empire and whatever else. So as the hydrogen line is mentioned with the 420 megahertz, all right, we saw the hippie Jesus, we saw the Afro perms, and the Jesus revolution in the 70s, and the psychedelics and the drugs and all this stuff come in, right? And then you're given, as a baby boomer in the drug world, the cops or whatever come in and junior high, these are all the drugs and they do all this stuff or whatever, and we're gonna lock you up if you touch it, right? But you can find it on, and okay, so it's where they are creating the criminal. And we don't even know about this stuff, so they go in and tell you fucking about it. And it's just like with the kidnapping and the so-called Adam back in the day. Adam Walsh, and then his dad started the America's Most Wanted program and whatever. They made a movie with it, and we saw the shit with Amber and how it comes from one and then it goes into the other and whatever else. But that's where nobody even is thinking about kidnapping or whatever. And then they show you kidnapping. Everybody's worried about kidnapping or whatever. And then I have a story where some clown tried to kidnap me one time when my mom was taking out groceries, and I was there in the driveway. She was taking them in and out. I was in their driveway doing kid shit or whatever. And there was this clown parked in the car. He had balloons or whatever. And he was at the neighbor's house. And he was like, he was actually like over here, because my house is over on that side. And I was like, that kind of thing. So, and then the story with the girl being taken over the fence and some dude beating off on her. And then that was near where we practiced soccer at the time. And then that's when quit doing soccer and quit going, pretty much going over to that girl's house after that. And then that girl's house also where, man, y'all don't even know what kids are doing. As a kid looking back, and whatever. Going to and being babysit with a girl. I told you my story in kindergarten, and then going over and her being my only friend, and then us playing Barbies and shit or whatever, and then my grandma will take me to the fucking salon every Saturday and whatever. Like, it's no wonder why I cut hair. Like, either way, was never my plan. It's just like all this shit that I've done, like from 20 to 30, like, or 20 to 28 when I had my wreck, or I had my wreck in 27, but I had my surgery when I was 28. Either way, so it was like I was just put somewhere, and I prayed for these things as a child, as a teenager, and whatever. And when I bombed the SATs and the dreams of becoming a surgeon, brain surgeon, or heart doctor, or whatever, I just went into the old art institute, right? So I was already an artist. My senior year, I took 2 classes. I took Art 3 and Art 4. And then I also did the banner paints for the football to run through. Either way, and that was all because the swim coach, she kicked me off the team when she was a volleyball coach. Didn't know shit about swimming. She came in on my junior year and fucked up my scholarship ways that way. So, but it all worked out because it all worked out. And it's like God, the Jesus that I prayed to, took me in, showed me some things, showed me some wisdom, showed me another side of this earth, of this world, how it operates, and had me get into a wreck and took me out of it. Okay? And it's all very weird, and it was all placed at the perfect timing, and everything fits together perfectly as far as what's been going on. And now man's merged with machine and hitting the pole at 70 miles an hour, and then shattering my heel bone like an egg, and having 13 screws and 3 plates in my foot, and all this shit, right? So either way, man, the things upon the earth, and the metals, and the medicine, and the Metatron, and the meta, and these things just going together as far as the temple structure coming within man. And you have the earth, the water, the fire, the air, the metal, all these elements coming in as you're in that periodic table of elements. And we have a table and a Russell snake and whatever else. But the Russell Stovers, I'd probably avoid those with the ear dings and the slow oven, those kinds of things. But that's a whole nother level. The wow signal and me connecting these things is just a simple step for maybe y'all to hear and see connections as far as these things lining up and passing through certain ways. And then it's just not one thing. All this shit was kind of turned on in 2020. All right. And it was at a time when everything was just at a sweet timing and perfect timing, where this spiritual and this carnal and all these things overlapped, where I was able to whatever when I heard the trumpet sounding and I saw these things happen. But also it's been in a... Either way, folks, if you've been following, then hopefully it makes sense to you. It's not really an easy place to be as far as walking between worlds and having the time for this and a time for that. And it's really just part of it is out of a passion, and this passion was set through the star seeds when I heard about the Son of God, of Jesus returning, and he said this, that, and the other. And it's not necessarily how the church is teaching, and it's part of that new covenant that's setting up as the elect are here and we have a new song to sing for the new church as the new church is being set up, and the aliens and whatever else, as there's a truth being laid out and a lie being laid out. It's up to y'all to make the decision, but either way, I'm just here to connect the world and worlds and times, because I know that when I listen to these pastors and I see the world and what's going on, that they do not align. And when I see the words of Jesus and I see the words of Paul and the words of Moses, they do not align. And when I see that this Bible is teaching this and Jesus is teaching that, and this man over here is teaching this, that man over here is teaching that, this woman over here is teaching that, she's not even supposed to be teaching according to their law. So it's just like, it's all there in front of you. And the denominations, the demon nations, this man brings intelligence, this man brings a demon here, this one, they're all trying to possess you, all trying to get your 10%, your begotten, your amen worship. If they can get your money, then you're obviously going to listen to them and whatever else. And either way.